Hello, hello. Well, my name is Dr. Branko Tama. I want to say welcome to the Bridge Call Civility Initiative. As you are aware today is the official book launch of the Bridge Call Civility. And this is a book that focuses on honor, legacy, inspirational leadership from the heart, building for the future, but also giving back. Yeah, I'm truly honored and grateful to have in my presence today the one and only His Royal Highness, Dr. Clara Rivers, and also the professor of our time. We have Professor Dr. Christine Kashatak. This is truly an amazing people, and I will just take this time to start with His Royal Highness, and from there we will go over to Dr. Christine as we kickstart here.
Well, Dr. Bronco, you're always a humble man, but I can't let you stay at that place today. We had the privilege of working with you, Dr. Christine. First of all, Dr. Christina Kozaczak is one of the great voices for women's civility around the globe. Just a phenomenal voice, not an echo, a voice. Dr. Christine, always a pleasure to be on anything with you.
Mhm.
Same to you, His Royal Highness. And you are absolutely incredible. And Timba, I mean, working with you in this last almost 2 years has been a journey that will never be forgotten. It's a legacy that will go down in history.
Man, thank you.
Amen.
Dr. Timba, you are, in my opinion, one of the modern day philosophers that knows real answers in real time. Let me give you an example. I just got back from England, and I was in meetings. I was in some great meetings, and people are used to hearing words that sound good. But
Mhm.
see, beneath words that sound good, I always ask one question: but what does it look like to get there? What does it look like for this outcome you have on paper is perfect, but our society's messed up. So I don't care if you write the best documents in the world. If the evidence and results in reality is chaos, then what you documented doesn't matter. But see, you with this bridge called civility, this is something that you lived. You see,
Amen.
you didn't start to help your community because of data's sake. You
Okay.
started because there was a need. And one
Mhm.
of the most powerful things in this bridge call, you are a master expert. And I can speak that because I'm one of the lead voices for World Civility. And also I've been to many nations of the world. And what you've accomplished and what you've written in this book, if people can take this information that you've created and implemented, we will have change at ground level. So much of the work that I see that's going on, it's actually researched great, but it's still chaos. So the research missed the information that was needed to bring institutional change. Bridge
Amen.
Call Civility has created you as a philosopher, and I'm calling you a modern day philosopher. Why? The concepts in this book, ha, are world changing, and they were created by you. So I'm
Amen.
not afraid to call you a modern day philosopher. So,
Amen.
so I want to thank you for this masterpiece that every nation, every community needs to have you come in and speak on the issues in this book, and they will be able to actually integrate their like disconnects in the community.
Mhm.
So, Dr. Christine, over to you. Anything that you want to interject?
Yeah. Dr. Bronco. Well, first of all, if you don't know Dr. Branco, I always say Bronco, but it's Dr. Branco. If you don't know him, get to know him. When we were in London back in October, we really got to know who Dr. Branco was, just not as a client, but as a friend. So, get to really know him. So, Dr. Branco, how is it that how do you build these relationships up to bridge the call. And I know you're an Every Girl Wins
Mm.
representative also through Liberia. So that right there to me is also a bridge from Liberia to America, to ensure that every girl wins. So how do you do that? How do you build those relationships?
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Christine, for that question. It's actually what I live, it's part of my heart. And I tell you what, I've gotten to realize in life, and it comes through life experiences, that every relationship that we have is essential, not just for the present, but also for the future. And
Hmm.
each of those relationships can be seen as a bridge that help connect people, even when you have exhausted, what you needed. It's not just for you, but sometimes we don't understand. Every connection, every relationship that we have is important, because when you establish that relationship and you maintain them, guess what? Down the road, somebody might be in need and want to be into that situation. You can pick a phone or a phone, call that person who have been there with you, and guess what? That other people will begin to benefit from the relationship that you maintain. And I said a bridge because every relationship is a bridge that gets out to our destination. But many a time, people fail to understand that even as a bridge, the bridge needs to be maintained. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? You need to uphold that bridge. You got to make sure that you can't destroy that bridge that you use to go across to another city. When you look all around the world today,
Wow.
it's evident. Every city, every major places or successes are connected by way of bridges.
Hmm.
Well, guess what? They too have their limit. So we got to understand that in life, not one relationship that will take you all the way to your destiny or your destination. But God bring the relationship in pass and peso for you to be able to learn, for you to be able to be established, and then help connect those as you go. Because when you connect those bridges and you maintain them, other people, guess what? You are making the sacrifices that other people work on and be able to get to those success. So for me, it is important that we maintain the relationship, not for ourselves, but for future generation and people that come after us.
I love that because you know how they talk about infrastructure.
Mm.
You have some bridges where they're just crumbling, and just visualization, they're crumbling. And you've got some that's brand new, and then you got some that's used that really, has history to it. So I love the concept of. I've always loved the concept of the bridge call. Over to you, His Royal Highness.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Christine. Dr. Timba, you have empowered 4,000 women in a community. Now, see, when you authored this book, there was evidence and results. So
Mhm.
we're not here talking theory. You have empowered a community with evidence and results, and this is why I have no problem calling you a modern day philosopher,
Mhm.
because there was no script you followed to create this. This
Amen.
was created from your heart.
Mhm.
This was put into motion, and there's evidence and results. And you have empowered 4,000 women. Can you please explain to us how you empowered and how that impacts the bridge call?
Just to come up, people will ask me why women, youth, and children, and some may not understand, at the age of, just giving a little background, at the age of 3, I begin to experience civil war in my country.
Mhm.
The start of a civil war, all the way up to age 25, 26. I mean, I still have some of those experiences. So all I saw then was chaos, suffering, and seeing women and kids, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Some being abused, some being taken advantage of, some just all those things. But guess what? In the midst of all of those things, the mothers, the women, our sisters, what they want, putting their life on the line. My mom used to go into the woods, you know what I'm saying, to be able to go get, some wild fruit to come and bring into the town and sell. So when people wondering, oh, why are you focusing on, women and other children and you? I was a kid then. I was there, and I saw my mother going through those things. I saw so much pressure that women go through that people don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes the father would not have to be there. Because at that time too, they were looking for men to send into different rebel groups until the men had to be in hiding. But guess what? The women were the one going into the highway, the byway, taking the race,
Mm.
and trying to find place to be able to upkeep the home. And it was from then I realized that if only women can have the tools necessary to help them develop and become empowered, I'm telling you, there's so much great thing that they can do. And I tell you, women are fearless. People don't understand. There are sometimes when men have to be in hiding, the women are out there. You know what I'm saying? And I have seen it. I have lived it. And I've been there, seen my mother put herself on the line, seeing her being attacked. She fought, and she fought. To see that kind of a strength, and sometimes people say,
That's
oh,
so
you're
good.
doing all this great thing. But when I think about it, I'm telling you, I say the true hero or the true thing of me right now go back to my mom, my parents, because I can tell you. So when I saw that, I realized, okay, I'm out of there right now. And I came from a community wherein I'm like everybody, we have a collective culture. Now, during the Civil War, most of my community members lost their kids. I'm one of the family who was fortunate to have the child to still be alive, was not involved into any rebel activity or any armed gang or anything. So for me, I believe that's a huge burden that I have now to console, those people who have lost their kids, who have lost their family in a way that bring positive feeling. Today, I tell you, when I realized that, I said, okay, I can't just send things just for my people. It has to be something that will help support the community. So whenever I send stuff for them, I have to think about the community. I have to think about the church. I have to think about those who are around. Even today, I'm still looking out for people because I can tell you, when you empower women, I'm telling you, there's so much more that we can do. And I hope that every nation will rise up to see and realize the sacrifices that women have gone through and make sure they can give them the tools necessary. Because when women have that, I'm telling you, there's so much more they can do. But more importantly, accountability. Women, as I tell you, I've seen based on what I saw from my mom, they are not selfish people. They are givers. I watched my mom, even in the midst of struggle, when we don't have enough food, still willing to share. And those are things
Mm.
that I live with. And one, I'm like, how can she be in a position, even though she need everything for her family, but she still share? She will go out into the places when other people have fear to go there. She go and get food and come back and still have to share for other people who was not able to even go there, who don't have the courage to go there. So that just I'm telling you, I can tell people, mothers are heroes. People don't understand that. So that where my heart is, and I believe everything that's happening to me today is based on the sacrifices that women, mothers have made to get me here. And I'm honored and today happy to be here representing my community and Liberia as a whole, and truly grateful to be here today.
Man, Dr. Christine, every girl wins. I know why. This man is one of your first team. Dr. Timba, that's very beautiful, man. Dr. Christine, over to you.
Yeah, we need to create T-shirts because mothers are sheroes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, mothers are sheroes.
Yep.
So in this book, Dr. Branco, the bridge called Civility, building the new capacity. Now, just understand, this is volume 1. Not he has more volumes to come.
Yeah.
And in one of the chapters is challenge your mindset. And how will this book impact the world? And coming with the mindset, challenging your mindset. I've always said that if you don't have the right mindset, it's just not going to happen. So let us know. Tell us how this is going to impact the world, communities, nations.
Amen. Thanks so much. Well, as you learned from the title, building a new capacity. I mean, we all start from somewhere. But guess what? As human, we evolve. But many a time, you see complacency, fear, try to stop us from getting into those things. Because the true nature and the true purpose of God is for us to evolve and be at our better self. And you cannot be at one level and try to solve a problem at another level. No, you got to be at that level before you can go and solve a problem at another level. So when you're at that level, you cannot solve the one that's above you. And the only way to get there is to evolve, redevelop yourself, reinvent yourself, and get to that level. So I tell you what, now, the mindset is something that always keep us behind. I'm from an African country wherein you'll be shocked to understand that. Even I was talking to one of my friends, in politics, and we're telling him someone running for office and stuff. I'm like, the issue that I have, or the issue of Africa, is not leadership. We have leader. We have people who have the degree, they get this, they can be. But the issue is not, they are not leaders from the heart. Because leadership, when you lead from the heart, guess what? You bring about honor.
Wow.
You bring about legacy. You build for future generation. And many a time people don't understand. The mindset also get our people to the point like that, oh, okay, you know what? Let her go and elect people, or let her do this thing so that we can be able to get something. And those kind of mindset limits us from getting to our true giving potential. Yeah, I tell people, every generation, every human being that was created on this earth, God gave them, He has a promise for them, He has a purpose for them to be able to do. But many a time, the way we think, sometimes affect the way we act. Like,
Hmm.
it's interesting, when I came in this country, just to share, I've always been one who will push. When someone says you can't do this, then you just give me the yes to say do it. Even if I have to go do it in hiding, I will go practicing to make sure that I can do that and prove to you. For me, I didn't see that as somebody being castigative or somebody putting me down. But whenever they saw this, I saw that as an opportunity for me to prove to people that, okay, if you say this, I'm going to be this. I came in this country trying to do construction. People are like, oh no, that thing is for white people. I mean, if you can't do that, you can never find a way through that. But I tell you what, I asked a question: do they give tests? Do they give exam for people to do? They say yes. And then listen, why would you guys limit yourself to see that you think that, oh, even though you do, you know what you know, you can never get into the system, or you can never be an engineer, you can never build a business in this country. I said, I'm gonna do it. I mean, it was kind of fun. All people were laughing, but they're not laughing now because I went through the process. Guess what? Went through the process, did some refresher courses to get me prepared because my license from back home could not be accepted here. But what kept me going was the courage to prove that we can do it. And today I am a licensed, contractor in the state of Minnesota, in the USA, a builder. I built from the ground up. And that was one of the things that inspired me to say, you know what, I want to build my house this time from the ground up because I want to push this mindset to make it like, I'm like, if I go into a house I've been going into, okay, somebody own. I'm an engineer. Sometimes people say, oh, engineer does not build their own, the best is not always for them. I'm like, no, I'm going to change that mindset. No, I want the best too. If I do something for my customer that is very best and they love it and they see it, myself, I want that too. So that's the kind of mindset. People need to start molding the mind in a way that there's so much more that we have to offer than what we can receive. We are meant to create businesses. We are meant to impact the world. God didn't just put us on the world to be able to occupy this place. No, to impact this world with so many things. But when we limit ourselves through fear, then there's a problem. So when I talk about the mindset, it was straight, it's where it came from. And just thinking of what I say in Africa, people feel, I'm like, yeah, to be in the US, the opportunity I have today, I'm truly grateful to the American citizen, people who gave me the opportunity to be in this country. And I would tell people, it's truly an honor to be here. There are a lot of taxpayers who made sacrifices with their money. The government don't have their own money. It comes from taxpayers. So I always tell people, God brought me here for the purpose. It's truly an honor, and I will always be grateful for this great country, for the opportunity they are giving me to be here. I own a business here. I create job opportunities for people, and I'm truly honored to be in this position. When you change your mindset, you change everything. Today, I have proven every other time when someone say you can't do this, I'm just going to do it anyway. And guess what? You will see and like, oh, how did you do it? And that's why I keep doing what I do. And that's why I'm helping other people to get to that point. If you want to live your best life, you got to change your mindset.
Boy, my
Yeah.
God.
Wow. And you are a true leader, Dr. Branco, because you have absolutely a heart of gold. Absolutely.
Man,
Over to you, his
man,
line.
man. And thank you, Dr. Christine and Dr. Timba. This is what you're doing also. This is my big fight now with everything I'm doing in the world. You have to track your legacy.
Yeah.
How many people have done great things, died, and there's not 1 ounce of literature, not one thing that maintains what they created. And see, you're a very humble man, but you're leaving an actual trail. See, in the scriptures, God talked about John the Baptist being one of the greatest because he blazed a trail that others could walk on after.
Amen.
What like you're doing with Bridge Call, you are leaving legacy with tracks.
Right.
We have to leave trails. If we don't leave, Dr. Christine, you're doing the same thing with Every Girl Wins. If you don't leave trails, every generation starts from scratch. So that becomes a disadvantage when people do not share their information. And this is why I call you a modern day philosopher because your initiative to move didn't come from books.
No.
It came from your mind and your ideas.
Amen.
And we have to change the script up a bit, where the one that creates it and walks it out, in my perception, is the real philosopher and the creator. So I want to tell you, this bridge called civility is a concept that, as you read this book, people, you will see how to integrate a community in a healthy way. And it doesn't matter where you're at. This man, with his philosophy, the actual principles that he's created, live everywhere and works everywhere in the world. Dr. Timba is truly, this is what I often say. If we talk about American heroes, and we have to go back to the 1800s, our kids and the generation doesn't know what the 1800s look like. So we have to begin to create modern day heroes that have the courage to step out of the boat and create their own initiatives, their own education. The information in this book is priceless for the world. And as a world civility leader that's been all over the world, I can truly say, I've been at the tables with presidents, prime ministers, the elite of the world. You have a voice that fits at that level. Now, many times, Dr. Christine and Dr. Branco, I don't mean to go long, but I'm explaining something. Many times, the people around you that don't understand who you are keep you playing at the wrong level. You have to have people that push you at another level to say, no. Okay, you're bigger than just this community. You're bigger than your city, because if you play it small on a big field, it's because you've been conditioned to play it small. So I'm not conditioned to play. I'm conditioned to play big. I'm positioned to be the answer. And I want to thank you for this bridge call that you've created, the philosopher. And I'm calling you this, and you have to, because the information came from God. You obeyed. And this is why, Bridget, this is why 4,000 women are being helped. This is why men and women are being employed. Men and women are involved in the world at different levels because of you.
Amen.
Because of you. So, man, we're just humbled to be a part of building this with you.
Amen.
Man, this is his book launch, and this book is truly something that every one of you needs to get. You need to get this, because we in the world are in a time of crisis, and we need to build new bridges. So, Dr. Timba, you said something in this book that I wanted. You talked about innovation. Innovation builds for like, future generations. Can you address that in this book? And then, Dr. Christian, over to you, and then we can close out.
Yes, thanks for asking. It came to me also just looking at my dad. There was a vision. My dad never went to college. He was then in high school when he had the vision of just establishing Tama and Sean Construction. And he knew before I was even born that he needed to do this. And for some reason, when I was born, he never had a chance to go to college. He has to go and take care of the family. So when he went to take care of the family, he had this thing, it came out of innovation, he wanted to do this. So when I mentioned that in my book, I was trying to connect the dot wherein my dad had this, it was innovation. He talked about, I think we can do this, was cool. I was not even born then, but when he couldn't do it, he also shared that with me. Even though initially I never found, saw the value into it. But when I decided to do it just to honor him, I began to see that, wow, what he taught them, all the innovative and creative thing he was thinking about this business, I happens to be the one that do it. But see what is happening today. It helped set me up because he had a foundation that was there through his vision and innovative thinking that set the foundation for me that I didn't have to go and recreate something. So Tama and Son Construction, based on that foundation that was set up, is what I just begin to work on and then take it. And then as in fact, I launch it, but it because he already established that. So even our fathers, as parents, if we can be able to help set those foundation, for our kids, that's why the civility, bridge called civility, it applies to family, politics, the whole world. Everybody's part of this. So that is why I mentioned that. So even as leaders, we might be innovative in a sense that help build for future generation. But many a time leaders, some leaders get carried away that they are much more interested in followers and rather than building for that generation to come. Because when you build for future generation, you set the foundation, you lay the groundwork that somebody don't have to rebuild or recreate. They just have to work on it, establish, and then build for the next one. So the whole world today, if all our leaders can be innovative to the point that builds for future generation, there will be system from the home, religious places of worship, everywhere as a whole. We have a responsibility to set that foundation because those who went before us set the foundation. Today we are working free. We are not slaves. We are free because people set that foundation and they pay the price. And they laid that today we are working on. Just to come in, when I went to UK, people look at me sometimes whenever I travel, because everywhere that I travel, and I have in my mind that my ancestor, who I wanted to come here, they didn't make it up here. The fact I'm here, I'm putting a lock here, I'm putting something, leaving my footprint to know that I'm helping to extend, their legacy, their dream, because it was their goal to have this thing reach all around the world. Whoever thought that bridge called civility, this vision, this dream that came all the way somewhere in the woods of Africa, you know what I'm saying? We're getting to America, get into, the UK, and Dr. Christine was there with me when she documented that moment, took a picture of me holding something on that bridge. People are saying, oh, this is called the Lover Bridge. I'm like, well, this bridge, I'm here today for my generation. And I left a lock on there that my kids, people after me will be able to see and know that. And to tell you here, all of this, I'm truly honored to you, His Royal Highness, Dr. Christine, because it's one thing to have that in you, but I can still remember when you make that call that time, oh, come to Gary. I had so much going on. I was in the middle of a project. But then what came to me, God remind me, you talk about the bridge call. Now, it is your time to answer the call. Because if you're telling people to answer that call, you have to first answer the call. So I'm like, okay, I will come. And guess what? When I came up there, it was life-changing. We had a connection with Dr. Christine, you were connected. And from there, everything began to rejuvenate. And the funny thing what I learned, though, in the midst of your pain and stuff, God don't look at those. He look at what is important that he need to bring out of you. God was still birthing out stuff out of me. I was going in the midst of divorce and other things, but he was still birthing things out of me. So when you called me out, there was just evidence of God saying, answer your bridge call. It's about time. This is something I said for a couple of years. I don't know what to start. I don't know what to do. But when I went out there, came out of there, everything started, Started Dr. Christine, the interview, we started talking about it. And today, see where we are today. So all the honor, that's why I was so honored and humbled to recognize you guys in the book and just, give the glory. Because one thing too that I learned, the bridge called civility, you always, as you build a relationship, you got to maintain them. But most importantly, you got to honor and keep that legacy going. And that's why everyone, I'm still looking for some people today who are impacted my life to still give them that honor and recognize them. People ask me why. I say, well, I don't feel like I have enemy. If there's some I don't know about, because if I know, I would try to make peace with them to make sure we're okay. Doing the work, there was a guy that almost killed me. Imagine, when I was with the UN working, I had the opportunity to be in a position to hire some ex-combatants who were training them to obtain. Guess what? This very guy was on the line trying to find a job. And the devil is bad. When I saw this guy in the queue, the first thing that came on my mind, it was just that flashback to how they were trying to kill me. And the devil, the first thing that came, the devil was like, oh, you have the opportunity now to, to deal with this guy. Don't give him a job. Don't do this. But then the Holy Spirit reminded me, you have all the opportunity to have a closure here. Give this guy what he never gave you. Give him the best. And guess what? I hired this guy, make him even one of the leaders. And when I did that with the intent that he will have to see me anyway, and the more often we see, we'll be able to figure this thing out and let it go. For him, when he wanted a job, But I gave him the leadership, and then the father, he had to see me every time he report to me. It got to one point, and I would not say anything. One point, he asked me, "Why are you doing that?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? You don't remember?" I'm like, "I don't know. What are you talking?" And then I let him to come up with it. I'm like, "No, listen, I forgave you. Then everything is over. I know we're doing the war, but I tell you what, I'm glad I'm still alive because guess what? I'm here now to give you opportunity to give you a job to do. And I'm telling you, we both wept, we cried about it, but it's not an easy thing to see someone that persecute you, hurt you, to be able to
Wow.
face them in a lifetime and still treat them with love and honor.
Wow.
It takes the special grace of God. And it
Wow.
was God actually who helped me to do that. I couldn't do that by my own self. There's no way.
Mm. Wow. Isn't it amazing how God works, how he works in mysterious ways? I mean, His Royal Highness, his organization is I Change Nations, and he's known as the world Godfather of world civility. That's what he's
Amen.
known
Yep.
for, is Godfather. As we all listen to that calling, I mean, look where you're at, look where I am at. Look at His Royal Highness. He, did he know that a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, year and a half ago, that he will be the king of Ghana, one of the kings of Ghana, the king of development? No, I
Amen.
mean, it's just listening to God, and a lot of people don't know how to do that. But if they just
Mm,
listen to their inner self, they'll understand that that's God whispering to them, and that's
mm.
Yep.
what you did.
Oh God.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dr. Timba, you're an amazing world leader,
Mhm.
Amen.
and you have information that the world needs. And please
Amen.
always understand, when you walk into a room, you belong. I
Amen.
don't care if you're with a president, a king, you belong, because
Amen.
the information that you bring is valuable.
Amen.
And I believe this is only the beginning for you. And what
Mhm.
I love about it is you put your legacy in writing, so that
Amen.
generations after you're gone will be able to look and find
Mhm.
tracks and
Mhm.
traces of their success, and they won't have to start at the floor. They can start at
Amen.
your ceiling.
Amen.
Thank you so
Um,
much, Dr. Timba.
well, thank you so much. I'm truly honored. And for all those that are watching out there, I just want to let you know, as we go through this series, the Bridge Called Civility Initiative, it's important. If some of you have issue with power relationship, please go back and fix things up, make it right, because you need those relationships not for yourself, but for people that will come after you. It is important that we build bridges and not destroy bridges, because guess what? Sometimes that bridge that you are destroying will be the very one that will be needed to take you to your final destination. So
Mm.
always try to build for future generation with the hope that you might not need it. But if you ever need it, it will be there, because guess what? You build it for the future, so that when that comes, it's ready to take you where you want to go. This is the end of the segment for today, and I'm truly honored. You can go on Amazon. You can get up your copy there. It's on both ebook and paperback.
Mhm.
Please feel free to get your copy. And I will look forward to having sometime talk. If you have questions, feel free. Contact information is there. But again, I want to say special thanks to these three, these two great leaders who are impacting my life. I can tell you, you, I, you both are part of my life journey. When we look back, we just don't know how it all started, but we knew that God has a plan and a perfect purpose. I'm truly honored, His Royal Highness and Professor Christine. Bless you all, and may God continue to bless you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank
you. All right, have a great day.
you.